Oh no! It's 1984 and I'm a teenager and my parents forgot my birthday! The following podcast, whatever that is, contains spoilers for 16 Candles! You have been warned!
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of KFR News Radio. This is your host, Glenjamin Bunn, along with your host, Happy Birthday, Magusto.
It's not my birthday.
It's not your birthday,
but
it felt right.
Like almost 6 months away from my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess it did feel right. But how you doing, Glenn? How's your 2 months after your birthday going?
Oh my gosh, 2 whole months. It's been extravagant.
2 months closer to 30.
Yep. It's nothing that I wish for happened, and I'm just everlastingly crying because I'm so old now.
How do you think
sad
I feel?
Moments. Older.
I'm okay with it. I'm just waiting to die, essentially. So
eventually we all are.
Eventually we are. But before death happens, we got to fill our time with something.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I, me more so, but sometimes you choose to fill it with movies. What movies have you watched this week that you want to discuss?
Oh man, do I want to talk about it? 2 movies. One we're about to talk about. 2 we did a video on. Joke's on me. Go ahead, Mike.
I had a light week. I watched 15 movies. You're not even surprised anymore when I say
I'm always just expecting it as soon as you say light week to just actually be a light week, and then 10 seconds after you say it, I'm like, oh.
Well,
he was joking me.
So I've been I've been doing the 1001 movies videos and everything. We have company coming at the end of March, so I got to cram everything in to the first part because they're going to be sleeping in the movie room. So we're not going to have a place to watch things. But the first one I watched was a rewatch, The Theory of Everything, a movie about Stephen Hawking with Eddie Redmayne and Felicity Jones. Pretty good movie. I like it. Then I watched that was for 1001 movies. Most of these are for the 1001 movies you must see before you die. Then I watched a documentary, which is part of 1001 movies, called Night and Fog. It is a Holocaust movie made in 1956, Holocaust documentary with actual footage. And holy shit. Anyone who doesn't give this a 5-star rating is probably a Nazi. I'm just saying it.
So most likely Hitler themselves.
Because it is a very impactful documentary. I knew the Holocaust was bad. And I knew a lot of things were bad, but just seeing the images of it, which is hard. If you got a weak stomach, you probably shouldn't watch it. But I also feel like it should be required viewing for everyone so it never happens again.
Yeah.
But it's an incredible documentary. Very sad, very tragic. Yeah, it's a great documentary, and I just wish that those events did not occur so it wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
Other way around. I wish it didn't exist because the events didn't occur is what I'm trying to say.
100%.
That would be a preferable situation. Then I followed that up with some lighter fare with Superfly, which is a blaxploitation movie from 1972. It's like a noir film. It's not like the ones that Black Dynamite was making fun of, where it's campy and everything. This is like a serious drama noir film, just with a pimp as the I don't know if he's a pimp. He's definitely a drug dealer.
Should be.
He's definitely a drug dealer. I don't think he deals with prostitution at all. Actually, no, he does. He specifies that he does. They just never show it. So yeah, it follows a pimp, and it's a noir following a pimp who's trying to get out of being a pimp. And it's very interesting, very well made for being a low budget blaxploitation movie in 1972. Can't recommend it enough. It's called Superfly. There is a remake of it that came out a few years ago that is probably not as good. So I would just say watch the 1972 one.
There you go.
Then I rewatched Don't Look Now, which is a horror movie from 1973 with Donald Sutherland and Julia Christie. It takes place in Venice, Italy. Good film. Then I watched Lolita, directed by Stanley Kubrick. Which is a very controversial movie because the infamous man known as Jeffrey Epstein, who definitely did not kill himself or did kill himself, whatever the government wants me to say, but I don't believe it for a second.
We did have cue cards. Who knows where they are?
He named his private jet that he would fly people to like the pedophile island after this movie, Lolita, and it's apparently like a slang term used among pedophiles for a promiscuous young woman. And this movie, I think it's the kind of movie that you're gonna get from it what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Where I watched it looking for like a kind of satire making fun of pedophiles and kind of pointing out the hypocrisy of them and showing just how sad they are, how disgusting and sad they are. And that's what it is. If you watch it like that, it's good. But if you watch it looking to be angry and looking to see a glorification of pedophilia, I can very well see you seeing it that way as well.
Yeah.
So, I understand the controversy, but I did not agree with how most people view it. It's kind of funny at parts, but I do think they could have hit certain things a little bit harder. Then I rewatched Joker. It's Joker. It's a good movie. You should watch
Joker.
It. Then I watched
that on the 1001?
It is on the 1001 movies you must see before you die. I think the last 20 minutes alone make it worth it. The last 20 minutes are fantastic.
You would think they would put like Comedy King on there or something, or King of Comedy.
King Comedy? Yeah.
Comedy
yeah.
King.
I would hope so. But then I watched Laura, which is a noir film from 1944 about this detective who is falling in love with the idea of the woman whose death he is investigating. It's well made, but I hate every character in it, and it's kind of annoying. And it's also super obvious who the murderer is from the very first scene.
Yeah.
So it takes out all the suspense from it. And I honestly don't understand how anyone would think that this is a mystery, because it is so incredibly obvious who it is from the get-go.
Oh, I mysteriously don't know who it's going to be.
It's one of those movies. Like, it's well made, but there is no mystery to it because it's so obvious. Then I watched The Batman. We have a review for that on our YouTube. Then I rewatched the new West Side Story because Caitlin and I are trying to watch all the Oscar movies for her, because I've already seen them all, so I don't really need to. Then I rewatched Star Wars on the 1001 movies you must see before you die. Then I watched Demolition Man with Sylvester Stallone and what's his name? Wesley Snipes. Fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Such a great, fun, stupid action movie. The fact that they, like, in this utopia, forgot the word murder and replaced it with murder, death, kill. The fucking dumbest thing I've ever heard of, but it's so dumb it's brilliant. I love it.
So they forgot the word for murder, but the word for their murder has murder,
death,
in
kill.
it.
Yeah, it's so stupid. I love how stupid it is. And every restaurant, including fancy ones, is a Taco Bell.
Beautiful.
It's brilliant. It's so stupid. I can't tell you how stupid it is. It's wonderful how stupid it is. Then I rewatched The Empire Strikes Back. Star Wars. Pretty much all the old Star Wars movies are in there.
Yeah.
Old from like the 70s and 80s, not the prequels. Then I watched 16 Candles. We'll get into that in a second. Then I rewatched Batman because it's just, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. Maybe I rewatched it.
Moi oomph. Oh.
You're going to have to watch our video review to see how I feel about it, even though I rewatched it. And then today I rewatched Return of the Jedi. Tonight I'm probably going to watch Force Awakens because that's also in the 1001 movies. I think that was a hopeful
Force
addition.
Awakens is in there?
I think it was a hopeful addition because it was probably added the year it came out when everyone was hopeful about the future Star Wars.
Yeah.
So I have, if you want to know what I have to say about that, watch my April episode of Cinema Bucket List. But that is all I watched, just those few films.
Just a couple.
So let's get into 16 Candles.
So, what's the story? You got a guy or?
Yes, 3 big ones, and they went blood.
Her name is Samantha Baker, and today is her 16th birthday.
Fred, she's gotten her boobies.
Oh, I'd better go get my magnifying glass.
They forgot my birthday. Classic. This is the single worst day of my entire life.
Universal Pictures presents
Score, a direct hit.
16 Candles.
You say it's your birthday. It's my birthday too.
A girl's sweet 16th birthday becomes anything but special as she suffers from every embarrassment possible. Directed by John Hughes, written by John Hughes, stars Molly Ringwald, Anthony Michael Hall, Justin Henry, Michael Schofling, Haviland Morris, a whole lot of people in there. John and Joan Cusack as well. As I had stated before, this was one of those, John Hughes movies that I had wanted to kind of get around to watching. And here we are with the platform to do that on.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, Joan Cusack is such a sweetheart.
She is. She doesn't have a single line in this movie.
Nope.
But my God, does she steal the scene every time she's in it?
Yep. She just a lot of and just like nodding and stuff like that.
And
Because that's
trying
really
to
all she
drink
can
while
do.
wearing a neck brace.
Yep. That's the first thing I texted you as soon as I started the movie. Like,
Yeah.
Joan Cusack's just a treasure.
Yeah. I'm actually interested in to see, because, normally we agree on most films, but I'm interested to see what you think about this. I have a lot of gripes with this movie. My biggest gripe, well, it's not my biggest one. It's one of the larger ones in mass and weight and all that. It is, I don't know why I said it that way, but the fact that they have actual teenage actors playing alongside, like, the trope of, like, 30-year-olds playing teenagers.
Yeah.
It makes it so unbelievable that they're all in high school at the same time that it's
super weird.
It's weird. You have like a 15-year-old Michael Anthony Hall date raping a 27-year-old Blanche Baker.
Who assumedly, like, at most was probably 17 or like 18 playing the character.
Haviland Morris
Yeah.
is the one.
Assumedly she was like maybe 17 or 18 as the character in this, and she had a nude scene in the showers, which was quite, I was flabbergasted, I must say. I'm like, oh,
it is a PG movie. This was made before PG-13 movies existed.
Yep.
Nudity, even now, is not in many PG-13 movies. And it's, I really don't think they would have nudity of an implied teenager in a movie that is PG-13.
I was definitely taken aback by that shower scene. Like, she's supposed to be 16, 17, 18, maybe?
Yep.
I was like, movie did not... I had no idea that it kind of didn't age well, but it's a lot of scenes... Not a lot, but like a good chunk of scenes did not age well as far as, our standards now.
A lot of slurs thrown around.
A lot of F slurs being slurred around.
R
words.
slurs.
It's Asian,
stereotypes,
dong, duck, long.
Duck, dong.
Long duck, dong.
Now, while most of the jokes about him, like, just made me roll my R's.
Yeah.
Or my R's. Oh my God. Made me roll my eyes. I can't even roll my R's. Why did that come out of my mouth? I can't do that. Many of the racist jokes about him made me roll my eyes. But any time that they said his name and you heard a gong, for some reason, that just made me laugh. I don't know, like, if that would be found... It's probably found offensive a little bit, but it's also, like, I don't know. I was laughing
probably a little bit offensive, but he was great in it. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much
notably,
actual fun he was having.
A Japanese actor, Getty Watanabe, playing a Chinese man. Not that. I don't know if that would be a problem today or not. I feel like that probably happens every now and then.
What, the Asian stereotype role?
Well, no, just a Japanese person playing a Chinese person, or I don't know how.
I was like, that'd be a pretty big problem.
Yeah, as long as a white person doesn't play them, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
how it's taken, but I found this movie just incredibly annoying, with both how it doesn't age well with, like, the laughing off of rape and everything and all that, and the racism and everything. But it's just more than any other John Hughes movies, it's just a whiny teenager. And yes, I would be upset if my family forgot my birthday too, but, like, she's acting like it's the end of the world.
I had texted you at basically the beginning of the movie. I was like, watch it just not even be her birthday, and that she's just being a bitch for no reason.
Yeah.
maybe accidentally trying to get like the attention off of her sister's wedding that is happening basically almost at the same time of this whole movie. And I was wrong. We'll say a little disappointed that I was wrong. I will also say, but like even a good chunk of the movie didn't have anything to do with her. Like it had characters to do around her, like, but like not her at all being the main character. Like it had things to do with like the geek, not love interest to her, who's played by Michael Hall.
Anthony Michael Hall.
So I apologize for that first name. I should say it faster. And then the guy who played Jake Ryan there for a little bit, which was her love interest, but you know, then he literally set up a kind of a rape in a way, even though the chick was cool with it.
Yeah, I mean,
which is weird. It's really bad for him.
That's the thing about 80s movies is so many 80s movies have the joke where like a chick gets raped and then she's fine with it.
Yeah.
Like Revenge of the Nerds has it. Breakfast Club has it. She's not fine with it immediately, but I'm pretty sure she starts liking the guy at the end.
Yeah. But 100% at the end of the day, Jake Ryan's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And there's no denying that in any way.
Yeah. I mean, like, I was on his side because Caroline was kind of a bitch at first.
Yeah.
And then when he was just like, oh, yeah, you could do whatever you want with her. I'm like, that's not for you to say, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is not for you to say.
She's out of this atmosphere. You can just, take the UFO. Go for it. It's all yours.
I was just like, Jesus Christ. Like, poor women in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got to say. It's hard out there for a pimp.
We've come a long way for sure.
We have come a long way.
Yeah, we can only go further from here. But
yes,
this was not the movie I was expecting it to be. I didn't have as like bad of a time as you did. Like, maybe the Joan Cusack moments got me out of it a little bit. But
they got me out of it.
It had its moments, like when it wasn't doing all the parts that weren't good. To kind of reach you out of the but like even Sam's character like didn't have much to like about her other than her just being a depressed teen because it's her birthday and nobody wished her a happy birthday in her family.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. It was all weird. I could have cared less for Sam almost the whole time.
Yeah, same here.
Jake's a piece of shit. Geek's weird. Like
also
good
a
for
piece
him.
of shit because he's the one
also
that
a piece of shit.
Took advantage of Caroline.
Yeah, like glad she liked him in the end, but also that was the luckiest. He rolled a 20 on the die there.
Yeah, he did. D&D rules.
Yeah, but this movie was not what I expected.
Yeah,
it's this movie and Pretty in Pink is what I kind of get confused with a lot.
I was actually just talking to John Clark about it, and he got them confused while we were talking. He was talking about Michael Anthony Hall and called him Ducky. I'm like, Ducky is John Cryer in Pretty in Pink, and I haven't seen Pretty in Pink. I just know that
because like I want to watch Pretty in Pink. Like that was another one.
Oh God, please!
But
no.
I keep. Well, it probably won't be on the future thing, but I'll probably watch it on my own. But I'm curious like how much more I'd like it than this because I'm sure it's got its moments because it was written by John Hughes, where it might not stand up to today's standards, but I'm sure it's got to be a better movie than this. Even though this has a 7 and the other one's got a 6.8, I think. Or 6.7.
This is his worst writing that I've seen any of his movies. I mean, all of his movies, and I'm chalking this up to just being the 80s. Most of his movies are problematic in one way or another. Unfortunately, I do think that was just the culture of the 80s, which is a fucking shame. But this, like, just the dialogue in this was just horrible. It was I know he's known for like writing things fast. Yeah. But usually he delivers like a quality, somewhat of a quality, at least something that you can connect with. But I didn't connect with anyone in this. I just, the person I connected most with was the dad, Jim Baker, because you know,
The
like
one grandpa that laughed at every dad joke too.
Oh yeah, but like her dad, like you could tell he actually felt bad about missing her birthday, which leads me to like after all that bitching she did, she was oddly like just acknowledging it. I didn't buy that she would be the kind of daughter to just be okay once he acknowledged it.
Yeah.
Like she leading up to it, not saying that that's not the right thing to happen. If you're in that situation, that is the right thing to happen. People make mistakes. Yes, that is a huge mistake to forget your kid's birthday, but your other kid's getting married the next day. You got other things on your mind. But
it also would have been better if, like, in some sort of way, she was like, "Oh, maybe I am being too hard on these guys." But no, she went home still kind of pissed off. I mean, Geek.
At that point, just bring it up.
Yeah,
like if they obviously forgot your birthday, just bring it up. Milk
like, Geek
that
and her
shit.
had a conversation, but like it wasn't like a meaningful enough conversation for her to be like, maybe I was being too hard on everybody. No, he was like trying to force kiss her, and then like they had a little talk, but that was it's weird. Again, yeah, that moment with her and her dad was nice, but like other than that, she kind of just caved in as soon as he was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry."
Yeah,
about that.
Like they didn't even make plans to do something another time, which I think would have been like, for how she acted the whole time, would have been the bridge to healing. Would have been like, hey, I know we forgot it. Hey, next week we'll go to dinner wherever you want. We'll do whatever you want on this particular day. Done. But just saying, oh yeah, we forgot your birthday. Sorry about that.
Yeah. And the mom
for
was
how
just
she
like,
was acting was not enough.
You were trying to tell me, and Mom, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's okay. Then that was that. Like the whole purpose of the movie was just over, just like and done with after that. Just like, oh, it's fine. Oh, okay. Sister's wedding? Oh, she's absolutely pilled out of her mind. Got it. Intoxicated women in these movies. I'm sorry, ladies. What was going on?
Well, I mean, she was only getting married after 6 months, so
yeah,
I would need some kind of drug too to go through with that.
Crazy wild.
Yeah, the whole movie's just a whole bunch of cringe.
And I'm curious as to if this movie's just big because it's a John Hughes movie, and it was in the 80s, and he was a big guy back then.
Well, this was before he really blew up, because he had National Lampoon's Vacation before this.
Yeah,
but before that, I don't think he directed that. I think he just wrote that. Yeah, this was his directorial debut. So he probably didn't blow up until this movie, 16 Candles. But yeah, I think it's definitely weak. Who knew that the geek would go from date raping Caroline to fighting Michael Myers 40 years later?
Yeah.
It's
evil dies tonight.
40 years ago. Always back to that movie.
Of course.
But yeah, it's not a good movie in my opinion. I honestly, even with the not aging well, I don't think I would have liked it if I was a completely ignorant person or living in the 80s or whatever. It's just, the writing itself is just bad. Maybe if I wasn't into film, I would like it, but like it's bad writing. It's very cringy writing.
I was generous. I gave it a 2.5. Just because like like I said before, there's tiny moments where the parts aren't aged well, like the moments in between the parts that don't age well were nice enough for me to be like, okay, I guess I enjoyed it enough, but I'm definitely not going above that at the slightest.
Anytime the geek wasn't trying to rape someone, he was funny.
Yeah,
but he was trying to rape someone.
Honestly, he was a good character besides all of those stupid flaws that were just written in.
Yeah.
And that's, I almost bit my tongue saying that, but, for the most part, other than his shitty, character flaws that were written for him, the other half of him was actually, for the most part, entertaining at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have too much more to say.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say either. So I guess that brings us to the judgment. As always, it has to be unanimous decision whether or not it goes on the KFR shelf. Jesus Christ. With the likes of Apostle and Handmaiden. Glenn, this was your pick, so you get to go first. Does it go on the KFR shelf with the likes of Apostle and Handmaiden?
Indubitably, it does not go on the shelf. Interesting watch. Glad I finally got around to watching it. Pretty in Pink's up next, but this one does not make it.
I feel like we're gonna piss off a lot of Gen Xers with this, but guess what, Gen X? You got shitty taste in movies.
Yes,
All
I
you guys
know.
talk about is 80s movies, and 80s movies aren't really that good, in my opinion. And 90s movies aren't either. Like
Yeah.
we had
Sorry,
20 years of shit from 1980
Listen,
to
just because your
1999.
fashion's coming back doesn't mean this gives you high hopes.
The worst fashion too. Gen Z mullets
Why did
do
you
not
have to
look
do
good.
mullets?
Mullets do not look good. You're gonna look back at yourself and just be like, "Wow, we were fucking idiots." Because guess what? People already did that before you. Anyway, I don't care if I sound old saying that. I sound old and young at the same time because I hate 80s movies. I think they're mostly bullshit. You have good ones like Back to the Future and the Star Wars movies and Goonies and whatnot, but like most of their movies are shit. And then Gen Z is just, I hope they don't die in World War III. That's all I'm going to say.
For sure.
So, 16 Candles does not make it on to the
What a
KFR
segue.
shelf with the likes of Apostle and Handmaiden. That brings us to our assignment for next week. It is Streaming Roulette Week.
Yes. The magical
For
beast.
those of you who don't know, Streaming Roulette is a very real wheel with every single movie on every streaming platform that we have access to. Mm-hmm. And we spin it 3 times. The very giant wheel. We spin it 3 times.
Huge.
And we pick the one that is most enticing out of those 3. So without any further ado, here comes the first spin. Umberto D. That's going to be on HBO Max. Umberto, as in the name, Umberto D, from 1952.
On HBO Max, by the way.
Yep. An elderly man and his dog struggle to survive on his government pension in Rome. It is directed by Vittorio De Sica, written by Cesar Zavattini, and starring Carlo Battisti, Maria Pia Castillo, Lena Gennari, and Ileana Samova. If any of those were supposed to be rolled, I can't do it, so just deal with
You
it.
just can't.
Yeah, it is 8.2 out of 10 on IMDb, and it is available on HBO Max. That's what we said. So that is Umberto D. Spin number 2. Here we go. Apollo 11. It is a documentary. I have seen this documentary, which is compiled of stock footage from when Apollo 11 shot. It is it's on Hulu or Disney Plus. It's on one of those. I'm not signed in on my computer, but it's definitely available on one of those. So let's see. A look at Apollo 11 mission to land on the moon, led by Commander Neil Armstrong and pilots Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins, directed by Todd Douglas Miller, and his archive footage of Neil Armstrong, Michael Collins, Buzz Aldrin, Deke Slayton, and a bunch of other people. Documentary. I've seen it already, but still, it's one of the picks. And here we go to spin number 3. Equilibrium.
Equilibrium from 2002, which is on Hulu and HBO Max.
In an oppressive future where all forms of feeling are illegal, a man in charge of enforcing the law rises to overthrow the system and state. Directed and written by Kurt Wimmer. I think it's Wimmer, Kurt Wimmer. Starring Christian Bale, Sean Bean, Emily Watson, and Taye Diggs. Also, Dominic Purcell and William Fincher is in there, and Angus McFadden, and other people that you'll be like, oh, it's that guy. So that is on HBO Max and Hulu. That's what you said, right? Hulu?
Yep.
So those are our choices. 2 movies I've already seen and then one I haven't. Have you seen Equilibrium?
I was actually going to say I had been kind of wanting to see this one.
Okay.
Since, the last 20 years. And then, of course, Umberto D sounds actually pretty enticing, and it's got a high score as well.
It does. I don't know if I can deal with a dog dying, though, if that happens.
Yeah, that is true. The dog. It says his dog struggled to survive.
You know how I
2.
reacted when I saw that dog swimming in the flooded streets of Gotham?
Yeah, that was. It's
Spoiler
toughy
alert.
Here. Spoiler alert. Yeah, I don't know honestly, between the two. I mean, you have seen Equilibrium, I'm assuming.
I can tell
Is
you
that-
this: Apollo 11 is great, and everyone should check it out. It's going to be very difficult to talk about, though, so I don't think we'll pick that one.
Yeah.
But it is a very good documentary. So check out Apollo 11.
And we did just see the Batman. How nice would it be to back it up with Equilibrium?
We can watch Equilibrium. I mean,
And
I'm
honestly,
leaning
I'm
Equilibrium.
curious if the dog does die do dog die?
Two dog dying Umberto D. Is that a spoiler?
It would be, but I wouldn't say it out loud.
Yeah. I think Equilibrium would be a better thing to talk about. And honestly, I've seen it. I know I've seen it. I remember some of it, but I don't remember much of it. So it'd be interesting to rewatch.
I'm going ahead and put Umberto D on my list to watch regardless.
Okay,
But I
yeah,
think
that's a good
Equilibrium
idea.
would be the move here.
You know, it'd be a better podcast if we're honest.
Yeah.
It just would be. So, yeah, I'm
I feel
going
like
to add.
we've been doing a lot of classic movies lately, and then
We've been
rom-coms
doing a lot
as
of
well.
ones where people are just like, what?
Yeah. What?
Yeah, so the Umberto D is going on the watch list, but we are going to choose Equilibrium, which is available on HBO Max. And did you say Hulu too?
I'm pretty sure I said Hulu.
Okay. It's definitely on HBO Max at least.
Yeah.
You can't do this. You cannot do this.
There's nothing we can't do.
It's real.
Burn it.
Cleric, I can only hope one day to be as uncompromising as you. You're a family man.
Yes, sir, a boy and a girl.
Don't move! Don't move! It's the lawful entry. We have a warrant for your wife's arrest.
So Equilibrium is our choice for next week. Thank you everyone for listening. As always, you can check out our website, www.keystonefilmreview.com. On Instagram, we're Keystone_film_review. Twitter, Keystone_film. Facebook, Keystone Film Review. YouTube, Keystone Film Review. TikTok, Keystone Film Review. And on Letterboxd, I'm Mike KFR.
And I am Glenn KFR.
And that will do it until next week when we watch a movie that some people hate because it's like The Matrix, and some people love because it's like The Matrix, and some people hate The Matrix because it's a lot like this, even though it came out 3 years before. But is this based on a book? No, not according to this. So who knows?
Who knows?
I know this came out after Equilibrium, or after The Matrix. It came out after itself. Oh my.
God damn. It is The Matrix.
Oh. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
No!